Hi everyone. So I'm finally back and I'm going to be filming another book video. I haven't talked about books in kind of a long time and I kind of miss it. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about how you can get out of your reading slump. I read only 2 books on September and it's just like so frustrating, but I'm finally out of it, and that's why I'm going to be giving you guys a few tips of how I got over it. I really hope that this video will be helpful for those of you guys who are actually in a reading slump right now. And so yeah, let's just get started. So I think the first thing that you can do is to actually start DNFing books. I went into a reading slump mostly because I read this like one book that is just like so boring. The Inheritance Games. I hate it. No, I don't hate it. It's an okay book, but I just don't enjoy it that much, and it ended up putting me in a reading slump. I should have DNF'd the book, but I didn't. And that's like the worst mistake ever, and it just ended up being like a whole mess. If you don't enjoy a book, if you think a book is boring and a book is starting to put you in a reading slump, just DNF the book. You can come back to it later, but just make sure that at that time you DNF the book so that you'll stop yourself from getting into a reading slump. Pick up another book, make sure you're enjoying that book, and then you can come back to the book that you DNF'd if you ever want to. Or you can just like ended up DNFing the book forever. Okay, and the next thing you can do is probably watch booktubers, whatever you want to call them, because I feel like watching other people like talking about their monthly wrap-ups, for instance, it's just really fun. Like you can see the amount of books they read. A few of my favorite booktubers are Steph Rare, Sunny Kim, Larry Reads, Sarah Curley, Haley Fong, and I feel like by watching their reading wrap-ups, it just really motivates me to read more, especially if they read a few books that they rated 5 stars, and then you'll just end up being very curious and you'll find yourself like picking the book up, and who knows, that might actually get you out of a reading slump. Other than watching YouTube videos, you can also watch a lot of like TikTok videos. What I usually do is I'll try to find a certain book that I'm really like interested to read, and then I'll search up the book title on the search bar on my TikTok account, and then I'll just start watching like videos that pops up, and usually like the video that pops up are a bunch of people talking about like how they enjoyed the book, and I feel like by watching those, it really convinces you to like read the book. Or usually the videos that pops up are also like aesthetic videos. So like people will show you the aesthetic of the book and like how the book looks like in their head. And I think by watching that, it also really convinces me a lot to like read the book. So yeah, I definitely recommend you guys doing that if you're in a reading slump. It helps me most of the time. And then the next tip I can give you is to read shorter books. I feel like reading shorter books will make you read books faster because like you know that you're gonna finish it soon. And then once you finish a book, you'll feel this like sense of achievement, and you'll end up probably getting out of a reading slump. I don't really have a lot of like short book recommendations, but you can definitely try to search up some short book recommendations on TikTok. I feel like a lot of people post stuffs about that, and you can try to read them if you find it interesting. And I feel like this is one of the most helpful tips of getting out of a reading slump, is to reread your favorite books, because you know how the book's gonna go, you know the whole storyline, the whole plot. So obviously like you're not gonna like feel bored about the book because you know that it's gonna be like amazing. And I feel like by rereading your favorite books, you'll get the feeling as to like why you actually love reading in the first place. Then the next thing you should do is probably like read books that you know you'll enjoy. Don't force yourself to read books that are on your shelf just because it's on your shelf and you want to finish like your TBR. Don't do that. Like read books that you know you're going to enjoy. If you are not in the mood to like read a certain book and you're forcing yourself to read the book, I feel like that'll put you in the worst reading slump. And it's better if you just like not finish your physical TBR and just like find books or buy books that you want to read. You'll probably like end up really enjoying the book. So yeah, just don't force yourself to read books that you don't want to read, because I've done that a lot of times. I've bought books that I don't want to buy only because like the price is cheap or it's on sale or whatever. That's just like so stupid. Don't do that. You'll just like not end up reading the book, or you'll probably like read the book and then just like rate it 3 stars. And I don't know if this works for other people, but it really works for me. So what I do is whenever I'm in a reading slump, I'll try to find a book again that I know I'll enjoy, and then what I do is I search a Spotify playlist on Spotify that is dedicated to that certain book, and I'll start listening to the songs. I feel like by listening to the songs, it really puts you in the mood. Usually the songs that are in like a certain playlist of a book describes the couple in a very good way, in a very accurate way, and by listening to the songs you can also like listen to the lyrics and you can like understand the whole like vibe of the characters and couples that you're gonna get in the book, and that really convinces me and motivates me more to like read the book, especially if they're like my favorite songs in the playlist. I'd probably be so excited to like read the book then, and I don't know, it's just like the best thing ever, and you'll find yourself slowly getting out of the reading slump, and I really hope that works. I'm not sure. And then if you've tried all of those and you still just like can't get out of your reading slump, you tried everything, then probably you just really need to wait it out. You just probably need to take a break from reading, because that's what I did, honestly. Like if I've tried everything and I still can't get out of my reading slump, I just probably need to give it time. So I didn't read for like a whole month. I just like watch movies and I just watch TV shows. I just like do my other hobbies. Like if you love painting or if you love doing arts, just do that instead. Journal, whatever, just don't read. And once you feel like you are in the mood to read again, that might actually finally break your reading slump. You just probably like need to take a break for a while and then come back to it. And I think another thing you can do is try to listen to audiobooks. So I don't listen to a lot of audiobooks. I have tried. It doesn't really work for me, but I know that it works for a lot of other people, because like by listening to audiobooks, you don't have to like sit and like read for hours and hours. You can just like play the audiobook and you can just like walk around and do something else while listening to the book, and that might be a way for you to read faster, because the book just kept on going and going. You can like listen to it, so that might be a very good tip. But honestly, like I don't really enjoy audiobooks that much because I just can't concentrate. I'd forget what the person said in that certain moment, and I'd have to like go back again, just like repeat the things that the person said. And then another thing that I recommend is to switch up genres. If you've been reading contemporary romance back to back, that might actually like put you in a reading slump, because like the books are sometimes very repetitive, very similar. The tropes are similar. It's either friends to lovers, enemies to lovers, fake dating, grumpy sunshine. So I feel like by switching genres, you can get like a different style of writing, a different plot line, something that is very different from the usual things that you read. So usually if I'm in a reading slump because I've been reading like so many contemporary romances, I'm sick of it, I will just probably like read fantasy books, because those are probably the only two book genres that I read. If I'm in a reading slump because I've been reading romances, I go to fantasies, and it's definitely gonna be like so much more different than all the usual contemporary romances that I read. So it would be like so much more entertaining reading different books and like books that I've never really read about before, and that really got me out of a reading slump. So I think this is the last tip that I can give you. I can't really think of anything else. So I think what's really helpful for me is to read books that are easy to read. If you're in a reading slump, don't go around picking classic books. Classic books are so hard to read, and classic books are usually very slow paced, and that might just like make your reading slump worse. Try picking up YA romances, because YA romances are usually very fast-paced. The style of writing is also very simple to understand. Doesn't use all of these like fancy words that'll be hard for you to understand. Or sometimes like don't read fantasy books, because fantasy books sometimes uses very complicated words. The world building is very hard, and that might also make you struggle more. If I read books that are just like so complicated to understand, I'll just like ended up like not reading fast, and I'll just keep putting the book down. So yeah, so I think those are all the things that helps me with my reading slump. And now I've finally gotten out of my reading slump. I've been in a reading slump for like a whole month, and it's just the worst thing ever, but I finally found books that reminded me as to why I love reading, and that's just like the best thing ever. So I think I gave you guys like 10 tips, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video.